Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. Mike, this is episode 195, and this kicks off Thanksgiving week. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing a whole hell of a lot better than the Steelers. Let me tell you that.
Yes. I think everybody's doing a whole lot better than the Steelers.
I don't know. Work was we had a power outage on Sunday, and we didn't realize the extent of it until we got there. Like conveyor belts weren't working that we needed to work, so it was a lot of people having to do a lot of like extra work to get the work done today. So.
Oh, that always makes for a long day.
Oh, yeah. It didn't, not for me. It just meant I was there longer than I needed to be. But the poor dudes unloading all the trucks, man. I felt bad for them.
Yeah, right.
But hey, still better than the Steelers, baby.
Still better than the Steelers. And like I said, we are kicking off Thanksgiving week. And to kick the show off, Mike, I'm gonna just kind of jump off track for a second, catch you off guard. Mike, this is the beginning of Thanksgiving week. What is one thing to get this week started? What is one thing that you are thankful for this year, Mike?
Oh, over-the-counter gummies.
Okay. Hey, fair enough. That's as good as answer as any. Over-the-counter gummies. Yes.
Yes. Because once I discovered those, my life has improved immensely.
Hey, that's what, what, people have been saying that forever. Even from the 60s. People are like, just legalize weed. Just do it. I mean, everything's going to get better. And the thing is, all along, while it was, it was illegal and, everywhere, people were smoking weed, the fucking doctors and lawyers and everybody. It's just such a ridiculous thing. So I too am thankful for the movement, certainly over the past 5 years and over the past couple years here in Pennsylvania anyway, because we do now have a lot of the over-the-counter things. And you could feel possibly moving forward with more decriminalization and things like that. So, yes, that is a very great thing to be thankful for.
Yes.
Besides for that, Mike, all I got is a whole shitload of sports today. I hope you're in the mood for sports.
I am in the mood for sports, man. I'm loving. There's so much going on.
There really is. Anywhere you turn in sports, there's something going on.
I love it. This is how it should be. Sports should be going on all the time.
I think that, yes, I agree. I think that first and foremost, Mike, we do have to stop in on our Chase Claypool check. Chase Claypool, Mike, the guy that didn't get his opportunities here, went somewhere else to get his opportunities to make a splash in the NFL. Again, only has 2 catches yesterday and 11 yards. 2 catches and 11 yards in Chicago's loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Chase Claypool, he's just not they're scoring a lot of points. They're doing a lot of scoring. Yeah. They're doing a lot of throwing the ball around. This guy's just not getting numbers at all.
No, I don't know if it's I haven't seen any of the game action for Chicago. So I don't know if he's not getting the opportunities or the opportunities there and he's not making the most of them. Kind of like he did here in Pittsburgh. Like when he had the opportunities, sometimes he just did not make the most of it with the catches there. And I thought, like, looking at their depth chart, man, I thought he'd boom, plug and play, get him in there. Like, hey, we're just going to bring you along slow. So, this play, we need someone to run deep. You're going to be the receiver who runs deep, someone who can run a slant, just simple little stuff. So ease him into it so he doesn't have to learn the whole playbook right away. I thought he would do a lot more just because the way that offense is moving. Justin Fields is playing a lot better recently. So I'm thinking, all right, he's going to get some stuff going here, and he hasn't. It's just disappointing for someone of that talent to play the way he's playing.
Maybe he's just going to be like, maybe he's just going to be an underachiever.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah. Like all the potential in the world. You hate to see it.
Yeah. Because he does have all the talent. We've seen, like I said, we say earlier that the guy had an amazing first 8 to 10 games as a Steelers a rookie. You thought the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
And it's anything but that. It's just a bunch of underachieving, a bunch of disappointing seasons for Chase Claypool.
Yeah, and this adds like a sports fan, or just a fan of athletics in general, to see someone that much talent, it can't realize that talent for some odd reason, it's just frustrating because you're like, oh, dude, man, you can be so much better than what you are right now.
Right.
And he thinks he's so much better than what he is because he knows he can be. I just don't know if he knows how to bring it out.
You're right. Right.
And it's not, I'm not saying that like he's lazy or stupid. I think it's just some people just don't know how to realize their potential.
No,
And he's
most
like,
people,
trust me, like
I think that most
yeah, like
people
in your
are
own
all
day-to-day life too.
potential.
Oh, man, I should have done this. I should have done that.
Right.
Down on yourself. So, but he, hopefully he gets it figured out. But not, he can figure it out next season. I want
Yeah.
Chicago to keep losing, and next
Yes.
season he could become a superstar.
Well, they're on good track. We're on good track to get a good draft pick from them, and if we can get 3 under 40, that would be great. No.
Oh God, that'd be amazing.
So speaking of Pittsburgh Steelers, they played a football game yesterday.
Did they?
Oh, well, you know
Played a
what?
half. They played a half.
I tell you what. Amongst the many things that we need to do to improve, we have to get corners that could cover, Mike. You just can't. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you some stats here in a second, some numbers on how bad our offense has been. However, just yesterday we were able to score 30 points, which is that's a good game offensively.
Yeah.
And if you're going to score 30 points, you should win. We were in that Chicago Bears territory where they keep scoring 30 and losing.
Yeah.
However, giving up 30 is good, or scoring good at 30 is good. Giving up 37 is bad. It was a good game. Like you said, we played a pretty good first half. The second half, we made no adjustments at all. And it was obvious because we continued to keep doing the same things over and over and over and over again. And Cincinnati's a little bit better than that. They know how to make the adjustments, and they did make the adjustments, and it showed. Let me give you a couple of numbers here, Mike. The Steelers. Let's see. The Steelers broke the streak of 20 or less points in a game. That was at 8. They were 8 consecutive games, and that also, Mike, was their longest streak since the merger of 1970. Longest streak that they'd scored 20 points or less. Now, the fact that they scored 30 points yesterday, that is the first time since November 21st, 2021, against the Chargers, that we were able to score 30 points in a football game.
That's sad. That's sad.
It is sad. It's real sad, actually. We do moving forward. We have one of the 2 easiest schedules the rest of the way. We're relatively healthy. We're getting healthy. I think it was awesome that Minka Fitzpatrick was able, he decided to come and play. I mean,
it was wild.
It was wild. And if you don't have him back there at safety, who knows what the score would have been. But, this isn't much different than what we were saying. I mean, obviously, you want your team to win every week, week in, week out. But, as we were predicting how the rest of the season goes, this isn't far off. We won that Saints game. We played a pretty... we played an improved game yesterday. There was a lot of things that looked like a real football team finally that we haven't seen from the Steelers in the first part of the season that we did. I mean, I think Najee ran the ball 20 times for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. There was things that we did that actually resembled a football team. And again, we haven't seen that all year. So those things are getting better a little by little. Cincinnati was a game that I thought was ultimately going to be a toss-up. I think that this Colts game Monday night, I think we go out and win this football game Monday. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know where, but I do think that we win this game. And again, we're making the Super Bowl, no, making the playoffs, no, but I think that every week we start to look more and more like a football team, and hopefully things could shake out by the end of the season. That way, whenever it gets time to make draft picks, fire coordinators, make decisions and things for the team, it's going to help because we're going to be a little bit that much closer to being a decent football team. However, like I said, I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was a game. And you know what? It was probably a game that most people expected to see. I watched the San Diego game last night at the Kansas City at Los Angeles. I'm sorry, the Chargers. And they replaced the Steelers-Bengals game with this. And it was an excellent game. I'm not going to take that away from, I think it was like 30-27. It came down to the last field goal. But you know what? That Steelers-Bengals game could have certainly stayed in the evening because it was a pretty good game. And I think that we ultimately got screwed on that. But I don't know what you know. The one thing that really pissed me off, the one thing that I think I searched, Mike. I searched and I searched through the secondary and I searched through the quarterback and I searched through the line and the coaching. And the one thing that I ultimately came up with that we lost, the main reason we lost is those stupid pigeons forgot to show up for our game. Those pigeons, the after-shore pigeons, they showed up in the afternoon. They thought that we were playing a 1:00 game because that's what they're used to. They were there at 1. They weren't there at 4:30 when the game started. They were there for Pitt the afternoon the day before. Pitt has comes up with an amazing win. I blame this loss solely on the pigeons. What do you think?
No. I here's what happened with the Pigeons, right? They knew it was a 4:00 game. They knew it was a 4:25 kickoff. They bet for the Bengals to win. They went straight up, Bengals winning. They didn't get, they had them winning, and they didn't want to stick around because, I think word got out that, the Pigeons weren't high on the Steelers this week. So they flew the coop, my friend. They flew the coop. I just wanted to work that in there.
It was actually really funny. Let me cut you off real quick. They did. I spoke with you a little bit about it over the weekend. The Pigeons, the Acrisure Pigeons, they did create their own Twitter account on Twitter, so you can now follow the Acrisure Pigeons. I love it. I think it's awesome. I do follow them. But I noticed right after the game, I got online and I thought, you know what, I'm going to bitch these Pigeons out. Like, where were you? Well, the Pigeons, their post, Mike, said that Matt Canada got them kicked off the field before the game. This is what they said. This is straight from the Pigeons' mouth.
You know what? I would believe it. Matt Canada wants to be the answer. He wants to be everything and anything and everything.
He wants the anti-answer.
Yes, he sucks. And speaking of those Pigeons, man, if anyone out there who's old enough to remember, what was it, like Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, the pigeons that were in there, like they were like the mafia style pigeons. That's what I picture the Acrisure pigeons are. They are those pigeons.
Yeah,
there's like those old mobsters, and that they bet against the home team, and sometimes you got to do that.
Right.
Oh man, that game, like for a half, that offense resembled an NFL offense.
Yes,
I was actually singing the praises of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
in that first half. He was like, 14 or 17 or something in the first half? Bro.
Yeah.
Exactly. I even surprised myself how well he was playing. I was like, all right, hey, he's made good steps. Was not panicky in the pocket, was assertive in the pocket. That back foot hit, boom, he was zipping it out there. He had that, oh God, it still pissed me off, even though there was a holding penalty, it wouldn't count, but he had picking, George wide open in the end zone and throws it behind him.
Yeah.
And people were going, George fell over, so it wouldn't count anyway. It's like, no, it was a bad pass. But he had like a lot of nice passes in that first half. I was like, all right, we're just going to keep moving. That didn't pan out second half.
Right.
I don't know what happened. You can argue play calling all day long. And I'm not a Matt Canada fan. I think he's the worst offense coordinator I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, the numbers show.
Oh, yeah, they show it. It proves it. But he wasn't the one throwing to the hash mark.
No, you're right.
Lines. That was like all of a sudden, like you were hitting people in stride, in hands, getting close to where they were. And all of a sudden you're throwing at their feet. You're throwing at the yard lines. I don't know what happened with Pickett because like the pressure wasn't that great. They didn't have that great of a pressure.
You know who he looked like?
He looked scared. He looked scared in the pocket.
This is usually a compliment, but do you know who he looked like? He looked like Aaron Rodgers looked the other night. There was just, you know what I mean?
Off.
Just off. And the thing is, I ultimately, I believe that once you let the guy play, they're still at a point where they're in his ear 24/7, and rightfully so. They're trying to teach him and get him on, where they would like him to be. However, once they let him rip and play his 7th senior year at Pitt, he was able to, he didn't miss those passes. He didn't, you kind of just have to let somebody who's a backyard football player, like Ben Roethlisberger in a sense, play backyard football. And that's what Kenny was. And that's what made him successful in college. I don't know, if that's ultimately what they're going to want to roll with it, but at some point you're going to have to let the guy play and get out of his ear and just see what he could do potentially with the talent that he has and with what he brings to the table. I believe he's very under thumb. I believe that, yes, he does have options. He can, do things on his own, but he's still on a short leash. And I'm not sure that, he's they're letting him be himself. And I think once you let Kenny be himself is when you're going to see the best Kenny. Because whenever I watched him play in college, that was when you got the best Kenny. They tried to overcoach him early on in his college career. Once they let him go out and play backyard football and sling the thing around, it got a lot better. And he's not missing these bad passes in the end zone. Jordan Addison, of course, made things really easy for him in college.
Oh yeah,
but guys in the pros should always, should also be at that level or better.
But the thing is that like you shouldn't have to rely on backyard football to hit simple routes, and he's missing them. It was like simple drop back passes that he was hitting in the first half that all of a sudden he couldn't hit in the second
Yeah,
half.
no doubt. The first half
It was I think, and this is going to go back into his early in his career, 12-yard Kenny 12 yards.
Right.
I think the moment was too big for him.
It
was too big for him. He had the game on his shoulders again, and I don't want to call him a choke artist, but he couldn't continue to play the way he did once the game was getting tight.
What I see is him developing a little bit better each week. And again, we could say what the expectations are. We could say what people thought he was going to do. We could say this. Mm-hmm. You do see him getting a little better each week, along with the team. I think the team's getting a little bit better each week. And, we still have seven football games left.
No. You have to count quarters.
So we have 28 quarters left.
There we go. We're
No, so, you had Kenny was 25 of 42, 265, one touchdown. Not bad. You had his receivers. His two leading receivers were Muth with 8 catches with 79 yards, and also George Pickens for 4 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown. So it's coming together slowly. It's a lot slower than people want it to. But for this season and what it is, like I'm saying, what if Kenny comes out and puts up 40 next week? The defense is going to give 45. There's still a lot that needs to be done on this team. As good as the defense played in the first half, they shouldn't have given up 30. That's almost 40 points. You give up 40 points a game, you're not going to win many of those football games. It's just the way that it is. So yes, we could pass it around. I'm not giving Kenny the get out of jail free card, but I'm not giving anybody else that get out of jail free card. There was a couple people that I thought played pretty good. I thought that our kicker Matthew Wright, who's standing in for Chris Boswell,
he rebounded.
Absolutely. 3 for 3 he went. So besides for that, I thought everybody was off and on. And who did have a good game, I thought, was Cam Hayward. Cam, anytime you turned around, and again, I'm sure it's the TJ effect because he hasn't done this for the past 6 weeks.
I know.
Every time you turned around, Cam was involved in a play. And then also on the other side, Highsmith getting that half sack. They split it in half, gave half to Watt and half to Highsmith. And I believe somebody else. There's one other sack too on the defense, but you know what? It seemed like the second half, the football team just didn't come out and play the way that they wanted to play. I think that they were able to keep tempo with the Bengals in one of these games. It was kind of a shootout type game. That's a good sign. Did the rookie beat Joe Burrow in the shootout? No, he didn't beat Joe Burrow in the shootout. Burrow had a pretty good game, but also that comes back to we're having some serious problems at cornerback, Mike. We're having some serious problems at cornerback.
Yeah, they picked on Arthur Millette
big time.
Like what was it like? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up T. Higgins' stats here real quick.
T. Higgins was 9 catches for 148.
940, yeah. So he didn't catch anything later, like anything after like the third quarter, because I think that's when they showed that stat. I remember seeing that, like, holy shit. What the damage was done at that point.
Joe Burrow had 355 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and 148 went to him. And P. Ryan had 3 receiving touchdowns. How do you let a running back?
He really stepped it up, man.
Oh, when Mixon went down, I'm thinking, oh, sweet, we got this. But he stepped it up, man. That screen pass for a touchdown in the first half, that was a thing of beauty. Like, you hate to see it go against your team, but as a football fan, you're like, that is how a screen pass is supposed to work.
Yeah,
it was fun to watch. I didn't like the outcome, but it was fun to watch. Arthur Millette, he's not a starting outside corner. He's really not even a nickelback. He's a good reserve to have. He stepped up when we needed him in that game when all the starters were out. But right now he's playing above water. He's playing well, above his ability. He should not be in there. But when you're at this point and you have injuries, you're getting low on the depth chart, and you're not going to find starter quality. So, but like it's just weird, man. Like you said, we didn't make any adjustments, and that's very, very out of character for this coaching staff because
Yeah,
we see it. They may not win a game, but they will make adjustments when they see
right.
something that's not working. They adjust. But I don't know what happened this game where, like on defense, they T Higgins is killing you. Double him,
Anytime,
double
like,
him, double it, or how about, hey, we're just gonna, hey Levi, you go follow T around.
yeah.
Millette, you go.
Which Levi did get a pick yesterday.
He did get a pick.
Levi,
I don't know why. Like, why wasn't Cam Sutton on the outside, Millette on the inside? Something different to make or just follow one of the two, like Sutton or
what's
Wallace should have
Witherspoon's
followed Higgins
situation?
around.
Because I know he was on the do not play list again this week, the inactive list.
Oh, Sutton. Sutton didn't play.
Witherspoon, was it Witherspoon or
Yeah,
Sutton?
no, Sutton played. Akila Witherspoon was out again. Yeah, yeah. I was
Yes.
so confused too. I
Is
was
he
like,
an
yeah,
injury?
like,
What's his deal?
I can't. He is injured. I can't remember what the injury is, but it was just, uh, I just like, what? Why? You know who they were going to? They're going to
Yeah,
Higgins. He was their entire offense.
absolutely. I think Tyler Boyd only had one catch, if I'm remembering. I only
Two
seen.
for 2 catches, 42 yards. He had that
So
long
he only,
27-yard. They targeted him 7 times. They shut him down because
yeah,
Boyd is usually the one that gives them problems outside of Jamar
absolutely.
Chase.
And
And
we were lucky. We're lucky that Jamar Chase wasn't in this line because that would have been another receiver we would have
but
been
yeah,
chasing around
yeah. So
back
we got
there.
lucky there, but it was just I don't get it. There there wasn't a lot of bright spots in this game. But Najee was one of them.
Yeah,
Like I'm happy to see the way he's playing because I was very down on him. Like this guy, I still don't think we should have taken him in the first round. Would have preferred Creed Humphreys or Najee 1, Humphreys 2, find a tight end later, but whatever. But no, Najee had a good game. He had 2 back-to-back really good games. So I want to see him keep it going. That O line and they played well.
yes, absolutely.
Like I was listening to the radio on the way home for the fourth quarter, and I think who was it? Dan Moore Jr. got beat for a pressured force, like I don't know if it was a sack or like an incompletion from Kenny, and like Craig Wolfley. If you want to listen to anyone talk about the offensive line, you listen to Craig Wolfley.
Absolutely, Wolf knows his
He
shit.
was he's like that's like one of those things like you feel bad for Dan Moore because how well he played all game long, and in that one moment, he let down one
Right.
time, and that's what happened. So I still think we have to find a better left tackle. I would like to see Dan Moore Jr. and Chuks Okorafor compete for the right tackle next year. I'd like to see Daniels. I think we signed him for a couple years, so he'll be back at right guard. Let's find a new left tackle, left guard, and center, and I would be happy with the offensive line. Even though
Absolutely.
Mason Cole, he's been steady. He hasn't been. We're spoiled. We're Steeler fans. We're used to having like Hall of Fame worthy centers,
I'll tell you
all the
what,
way back from Mansfield to Webster to Dawson to Pouncey. You have it's weird. We have that
and
certain
like you
expectations
said,
of him, but
Mike,
he's all right.
you got to admit this offense is the line is head and shoulders better than they were at the
Yeah.
beginning of the
Oh,
season.
yeah,
I
well,
mean,
when you're starting down here and you're up here, it's a
yeah,
big improvement. But they are playing a lot better than anyone thought they would. They're not giving up these like huge sack numbers.
right. I mean,
Like,
the first couple of games and then back into the preseason, it was
mhm,
scary. It was just downright scary on how bad this offensive line
yeah,
was,
I
and
think.
they certainly come a long way. Halfway
Oh
through the
yeah,
season,
they're
mid-season
oh,
form, I'd
mhm.
say this season, this offensive line's mid-season form. You know,
They're to steal a line from Stan Savran I heard today. He said they're an 8-8, 9-8 offensive line. They're not a 10,
yeah,
11, 12 win offensive line, but hey, that's what free agency for. That's what the draft's
absolutely.
for.
Things
You
are
can
going to get better.
like if we finish high enough and you can land one of these stud left tackles, take them.
I'll
But
tell you what, Mike.
if they don't work out, oh well. At least you took an offensive lineman high in the draft, first round. You're showing that hey, we need to improve this line. We're going to get one of these guys.
The Air Force Ones that they all decided to. Remember the Air Force One shoes
Yeah.
for the first Bengals game?
Yes.
So we lost the effect
We,
of that. We didn't have the
we
pigeons.
lost
I
the
mean, there
black
was a
with Air
whole
Force energy. We need that back.
yes.
And Tom was like, motherfuckers, I ain't spending a dime on you anymore.
Well, here's another thing, Mike. The Bengals, they actually all week long at their meetings and practices, they played
Mm-hmm.
Renegade to be
Mm-hmm.
used to it. And I don't know if you noticed, there was a penalty directly right after Renegade was
Yes,
played. I
yes,
thought,
yes. Like you did this. You worked on this. If I was Zach Taylor, the Bengals coach, I would be MFing everyone up on the
yeah,
other side. We worked on this. We worked on something outside of the game. We worked on, and this is what
yes,
you do.
it,
That's
yes,
a typical Bengals move. They
absolutely,
they played a great game. The one thing they really worked on and didn't want to affect them, it affected them. I love it.
yes. The Bengals are what the Bengals are. There's not going to be any repeats.
Yeah,
There's not going to be any trips back to the Super Bowl. I don't think this year.
I don't think so.
I think that Baltimore is your team in the division. If anybody's going to go any further
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs, it's probably going to be Baltimore. I mean, they're solid. Um, the
But
Browns, they took a loss
yeah.
again. That still keeps them tied with us. So
Mhm.
we're not in the basement by ourselves. We have the Browns.
Yeah, we got that going for us,
We
which
have
is nice.
we're
So
not worse
okay,
than the Browns. That's definitely something going for us.
like Joe Burrows, man, it looked like he played a bad game for most of the game, but he ended up looking at his stats at the end: 4 touchdowns, those 2 picks. They were pretty big picks, but they didn't
Yeah.
lead to a lot of points. So they really
TJ's pick.
weren't
Come
that.
on. What can you say about that
Oh,
pick?
like it was funny. What did I say? It's like, come on, man. It felt like TJ, you haven't done anything recently in
Yeah.
this
It was
game.
literally the next play.
Yeah, I'm like, where's the splash play? You're getting some pressure. You're drawing blocks. You haven't really done anything though. Then boom, it was like, all
Yeah.
right. And then what did I say when the offense came out there? Kenny, you haven't done anything in a while. Let's do something.
Yeah.
My magic didn't work that well. Oh, but to me that was a key turning point of the game right there.
Yeah.
We picked them off inside their territory. We gained 5 yards and had to kick a field goal.
Right.
That a
That's a tell of our
a
season.
huge momentum swing right there. Because if you put 7 up on the board, completely different ball game.
Yeah.
That stadium was going nuts. Get a good kickoff coverage, and you hold them again. That place would have been rocking and rolling, and that was just a failure of the offense right there.
It almost seems to me like the Bengals are a pretty decent squad, but they kind of almost like we do when you kind of play down to the level of your opponents.
Yeah.
And obviously we are having a down season. We're not a great football team this year.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like what this game was. And also in the game, the first game of the season against the Bengals, they played down to our level and hung in there. And it was it wasn't the worst game ever. 30-30, 37-30. It could have been a lot worse. It should have been a lot worse, and it wasn't. So we take that, we learn from it, and we move on to the Colts next Monday.
Yeah, there were a lot of bad spots in this game, but there were some bright spots. Like if you could just show Kenny that first half film and like, look, do this
like a dog. When you take a dog and rub his nose, and
yes, do this from now on.
Yeah.
This is what we want from you. The second half, no. We're going to rub the game film in your face.
Kenny.
Yes.
No. Like hit his nose.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we need to do. Whatever we need to do to coach this old man up, let's do it. Because pretty soon he's going to be collecting Social Security.
The 2 injuries that caught my attention yesterday was not as serious as we thought that it was. Pat Freiermuth got kicked in the stomach. He ended up coming back on the field and again having a really productive game. But Jalen Warren, Mike, did you hear any more about him? He was out with the hamstring early.
No, I did not. I have not heard anything about Jalen Warren's injury, and hopefully
he provides a pretty damn good 1-2 punch with Najee.
Oh, he does too. Oh,
yeah.
They were pulled it up. It's just saying questionable, but that was nothing extra about it that I'm pulling up that I see on ESPN. I didn't see anything in in the local papers yet.
You're right.
So you probably won't find out more until Tom, like either later today or I think Tuesdays when Tomlin does his press conference. Yeah, so we'll find out then. Yeah.
Mike, let me cover some of just other side sports real quick. We have a lot to do today. We have I got college to go over. We have picks to go over. There's just let's just roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start off, Mike. Let's stick in football. Over the weekend, 2 big games for us. At least we got the Pitt game, the Penn State game. Pitt played host to Duke in a pretty wild game. Pitt ends out winning that one 28-26. That puts the guys, I believe, at I don't know, what are they, 7-4, 7-4. If they beat Miami this week, they finished with an 8-4
Yeah.
record. I don't think a pretty decent bowl. Now the game that okay, so this one here, number 11 Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
They're at Rutgers.
Uh-huh.
And you told me last week, he's like, be prepared. This is the perfect situation for a trap game. And I sat down and I watched this game, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
First it was.
Yeah, 14-10 at the end of the first. Yeah.
14-10 at the end of the first. Penn State was up, and I thought, you know what? Mike was not shitting. This team, Rutgers, might win this game. So I sat down and watched it, and ultimately, of course, they were okay. They won 55-10. That helps Penn State out. That puts them at 9-2 for the season with one game left against Michigan State. If they could finish up Michigan State, who I did see a little bit of, and they look pretty bad. If Penn State could hold it together long enough to beat them, to finish with a 10-2 and probably pretty damn good bowl game.
It should be pretty good.
Rose Bowl kind of maybe.
No, Rose Bowl. Depending on who wins out, because Ohio State, Michigan, they play this week. Then the winner of that game goes on to the Big Ten championship. Then after that, I don't think Penn State's going to crack the Rose Bowl. I think either whoever loses that game, Michigan or
Ohio State. Michigan.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to take the Big Ten champion,
right,
or who would technically finish.
Right.
Lose that championship game, or they would take one of those two teams. I would like to see Penn State back in the Rose Bowl. That would be awesome.
I personally, you may not, but as a Pitt fan, I would like to see a Pitt-Penn State bowl game. And I was talking about the Pinstripe Bowl up in New York, because I would, if I had to if I had to walk on my face to get there, I would be at Yankee Stadium the end of this next month or beginning of January watching Pitt-Penn State. There's no two ways about it. There's nothing.
Yeah,
I would be there.
I don't know if college football fans deserve to have those two quarterbacks play the same game. No, that's like somewhere that's in the Geneva Conventions. It's like, no, you cannot have these two at the same time playing.
Yeah.
You can have the three running backs. You can have a Bandicanda, and
would be a hell of a running game.
Allen and Singleton. Yeah, you can have those three running, but you can't have the Slovis and Clifford at the same game. Nope.
Clifford ain't half bad. I've been watching him. He's not. I mean, he's not consistently good, but he's not bad. Yeah.
Well, when he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he just makes you want to put your head through the TV.
Right.
Good kid, but he's frustrating.
And Mike, that's not only the college. I mean, there was a plethora. I believe it was actually seven of the top 25 teams got upset this weekend, along with other games. Mike, the Georgia beating Kentucky. Number one, Georgia, of course, beating Kentucky 16-6. You know what I mean? There was Ohio State, Maryland, which was 43-30.
Yeah,
that's a close game considering Ohio State. Michigan only beating Illinois 19-17, which they could have very well lost that game on the field goal at the end of the game. TCU sitting at number 4 only beats Baylor by 1 point, 29-28. Number 5, Tennessee gets swamped. They get swamped by the South Carolina Gamecocks, who we were just talking about last week on the show. Gamecocks. LSU at 6 did a little bit better. They had 41-10. When USC in the UCLA game was amazing.
That's a good game. That's a good rivalry game. I love those.
48-45. I wish I would have watched it. Alabama. Now this is the one that pisses me off. I expressed this a little bit the other day. And, here we are. You have big games out the edge. You have all these upsets. You have big games getting ready to happen. Who gets the shit cupcake team to fine tune before they get Michigan next week? I'm sorry, that's Ohio State.
They have Auburn.
But Alabama getting ready. Yeah, Auburn. I'm sorry. They get the fine tune and they get Austin Peay. Now, seriously, I'm looking on this schedule and nobody in these ranked teams play anybody on the level of Austin Peay. Mike, nobody. Even the teams that aren't as big as the big teams. I can't believe Alabama. This is why, and I'm not going to say this is why they're always good, but it certainly helps. You get yourself a nice tune-up game right before the important games start. Other teams are struggling against tough teams, just trying to survive. Anyway, that's Alabama. It's what I
think it's because I'm looking at their schedule now. They played Texas in week 2, so I'm assuming they probably couldn't get Austin Peay or get Texas this late in the year and had to schedule Austin Peay down there. But
Maybe Austin P was doing something
That's
better than playing Alabama. Maybe.
hey man, Nick Saban has a way. Nick
Let's
Saban
continue.
has a way.
Let's keep continuing going down the list. Utah at number 10. They lose to they lose to number 12 Oregon, which isn't a big stretch. 20-17 Oregon beats Utah, but nonetheless it is an upset. Penn State, we've got that one. Here's one for you.
Georgia
Georgia
Tech.
Tech beating North Carolina. Come on.
What the fuck?
North Carolina is going to win the Coastal Division in the
Yeah.
ACC. We're right behind them, but we're just out of reach because we did lose to them. So no matter what, North Carolina does have that. But you just lost to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Arkansas beats number 14 Ole Miss 42-27. Another upset. Let's go down the list here. There's another one, I believe. Navy beats UCF in the number 20 spot, 17-14. Oklahoma.
Quick note. All the service academies, I think, did not complete a single pass this week, and I think they all won or some shit like that. It's something wild.
That's
like
crazy,
they did not
man.
complete a single pass, and Navy upsets the 20th team in the land.
Wow. Number 22, Oklahoma State loses to Oklahoma 28-13. Yep. And then finally, 24, Mike, North Carolina State loses to Louisville 25-10. I mean, if you like football, if you like upsets, if you like
these kind of
week, this was the week for you. Obviously we're moving into the last week of the season. Next week, you have a lot of big games, the end of the season games, Ohio State, Michigan games of that caliber, and then championship week. So you have a lot of big college football coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I think this was the last hoorah for the this kind of week. I do think you're going to get your upsets moving forward, but this one here, like I said, 7 out of 25. So
that's insane. And then next week is last weekend, and it's like all the rivalry games, so it can go anyway.
Yeah,
that's going to be the fun one.
Absolutely, man.
Dude, man. There's going to be a couple upsets this week coming up.
Over to the ice, Mike. The ice. The Penguins had 2 hockey games. They had 2 hockey games this weekend. You know what? We won everything that we needed to win. Our college teams won. Our hockey teams won. The Steelers, they did not. They were the team that let us down at the end there. But you know what? Let's talk some hockey. The Penguins, the other night on Saturday night, they played the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. They pull off the win. They win 3-0 over the Jets. And then they turn right back around and head to Chicago to play the Blackhawks, where last night Gino plays his 1,000th game, Mike, his 1,000th game. And Crosby scores 4 points on the night for the 5-3 Penguins win over Chicago. Mike, did the Penguins, are they turning the tide? Are they moving in the right direction, or are they just kind of on a nice little string of games? What do you think about this team right now?
They're on a nice little string of games. What's always going to plague this team is playing scoring situation.
Yeah,
defenseman pinching, always wanting to pinch in instead of just dumping the puck in, just playing smart, smart hockey. They just want to go full steam ahead, but they could be turned in a corner. It's nice to see. Nice little 3-game win streak. They've won 5 out of 7. We'll take that. So, dude, man, they're 9 points out of first. That seems like a lot, but they're only 2 points out of second place.
Yeah. And you know what? You can't really get any harder than Crosby is right now. I mean, he just had the 4 points last night. I think he had 3 or 4 points 2 games ago. So Crosby, it's definitely not on him.
No, he's rounding back into form. Him and Reichel and Gensel, those 3 together on that top line, keep them going because they have a damn good record when those 3 are playing together. Goals are up when they play together. Just keep that line intact. Let everyone else figure everything else out. I do think later in the season they're going to have to do some changes on the back end, back on D if they can. I hate to say it, but it looks like Dumoulin, he was one of my favorite Pens. Just the way he played defense, especially in that first cup run when he was just shutting down Ovechkin for the most part in that Capital series. I think he's at the tail end of his career. You got to see if some team will take a chance on him, see if they can revitalize him, move on from that contract, and then make another move here or there to improve the D, because the defense end needs a lot of help.
Yeah,
because right now we can't call anyone up because we're right up against the cap, and right now you're just shuffling pairs around just to see if anything works.
Right.
So you got to do something there.
So they are turning it a little bit here. Let's hope that they continue to move in the right direction, which we know that they can do. So a lot of season left. A lot of season left for the guys on the ice.
That's the good thing about the NHL, man. 82 games. So you have time to figure it out as you go.
I did forget to mention, Mike, earlier we were talking about Penn State briefly with the 55-10 win over Rutgers the other day. I did want to mention, because we talked a little bit last week about guys getting drafted into the XFL, which starts on February 18th. The there's 6 former Penn State players that were drafted into the XFL. So there might be boogers.
Yes, my child said, "Here you go," and then walked over and gave me a big giant booger.
Like it.
This is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta deal with.
So there you have it, Mike. 6 guys from the former Penn State.
Do you have their names?
I do not. I just have 6 former Penn State players drafted into the XFL. Was a headline. I just snatched it up. One other football story, Mike, football headline that I think you might like, because we were just talking about this the other day. MetLife Stadium in New York will be replacing its turf with natural grass in 2023. So
I like it.
I do too. I like the natural grass.
Yeah. And the players are going to like it too, because there's been like that new turf that people have been using. It caused a lot of injuries. And players want natural grass. Give them natural grass.
Absolutely, man. I think that, you know what I mean? Everybody wanted the turf because it looked nice. They wanted the artificial turf. But now that you get it, and they get all them rubber bits in your eyes and everything, it's a pain in the ass. 2 other things, Mike, real quick before we move forward. The Pirates trade infielder Kevin Newman to the Reds for right-handed pitcher Dari Moreta. And that's just another Pirate name that we're finally starting to get used to hearing in the city. Now he's no longer with the team. Surprise, surprise. But perhaps maybe this right-handed pitcher could help it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And finally, yesterday in World Cup soccer, it opens up. It was Ecuador 2, Qatar 0. Today we have, this morning, England beat Iran 6-2. That game was at 8 o'clock. Right now, Senegal versus the Netherlands is playing. That game started at 11. And the 2 o'clock game is Wales versus the United States. So if you're going to want to start watching the U.S. play, that is today at 2 o'clock. Check them out.
I think Qatar losing is the first time. I can't remember if it was in a World Cup history that the host nation failed to win their opening game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like Ecuador knew what was up. They were like, no, we're not going to let this nation win after, everything they had to do to secure the World Cup and everything they had to do to build those stadiums. Ecuador is like, not on our watch, buddy. Not on our watch.
Who did you just tell me yesterday? Someone just had a really fucked up report on their stadium.
Like rats. It was Jacksonville. Man, they had like all these health violations. They're finding dead animals behind the concession stands and concourse areas.
That was it. Jacksonville.
That sounds about right. Sounds about right for Jacksonville. Just
down to about 17 minutes of the show, Mike. Let's hop over to the picks of the week. Let's talk about the scores of the games this week. I'm just going to go down. I don't know if you have a list in front of you, but I'm just going to go down the same exact way that we picked them.
All right.
The beginning of the Thursday night game was the 27-17 Titans win over the Packers, which was a game that was not involved in our picks. So let's go ahead and start with the Bears and Falcons. Mike, the Bears and the Falcons. Now, this game I thought was interesting because I was watching the score, and, at one point, the Falcons were winning, then the Bears were tied, then the Bears were winning, and the Falcons were winning. I truly did not know, because of the caliber of these two teams, which team was going to end out winning.
Right.
And so finally somebody decided to win it in Atlanta. Atlanta grabs the win over the Bears on that one, 27-24, Mike. That was the only other game besides for the Steelers that you and I bet on. You took the Bears, I took the Falcons. Let's move forward. Do you have the teams in front of you as well?
Yes, I do.
Which because I got either the Eagles, Patriots, or Eagles and Jets, or Patriots and Eagles next. I don't know how your list goes, but I'm just going to start with the Jets and Patriots.
All right, Patriots.
The Patriots and Jets. Now that game was good. It was 3-3. 3-3. Not a whole lot going on in the scoring column, but it ended up being a super crazy game. It was under, I believe, about 25 seconds, and the Jets at 3-3 were kicking the ball away to play field position. They kicked it away to New England. New England takes the punt to the house.
Oh.
To the house. New England wins that, Mike. We both take the Jets in this game. We both
Oh,
lose.
yeah, Zach Wilson, 9 of 22, 77 yards. After the game, I guess he was asked, do you feel like you let the defense down? He said, no. My man, he got that dog in him. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to cougar hunt after this game. So
Wilson's a
no.
beast, man. The Eagles Colts, another great game. I thought the Colts had this one in the bag. They were up by about 10 points early. They were up, still a touchdown late in the game. And the Eagles was another team to win at the very end of the game. They slid by the Colts, our next opponent, Mike. So keep that in the back of your mind. We took the Eagles.
I'm worried about that game.
Yeah. Washington at Houston. Washington wins that 23-10. We both take Washington in that game.
Taylor Heineke.
There's your boy.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Yeah, watch out for that whole division, man. Watch out for that NFC East this year, huh?
Don't bet against Taylor Heineke.
The Rams at the Saints, Mike. The Rams at the Saints. You and I both take the Rams only because I think that we just watched the Steelers beat the Saints. So we figured, you know what, and the Rams they fall to the Saints 27-20 as New Orleans gets back on track.
Andy Dalton 21 of 25, 260 and 3 TDs.
Yeah, to watch the Red Rocket.
What the F?
Yeah. This is against Jalen Ramsey and guys like that.
Yeah. Like a good defense. The Rams 3-7, same record as your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
I fucking love it. I love it.
The Cleveland Browns play the Bills in Detroit at Ford Field. The Buffalo Bills field looked like a bowl of sugar filled to the top at one point. I seen when it was snow.
Look like cocaine.
Or you know what? I knew you were going there, you wackapy.
I see that shit. I'm like, cocaine.
So they did. They shipped the teams over to Detroit. And it was a really good game. The final count on that was 31-23. Yeah. It was a little bit closer than that till late. And I thought that was a fun game to watch. 31-23. Mike and I both took the Bills, so we win that one. The Ravens-Panthers game, 13-3. Which this game was another one. It was 3-3 forever, and then 10-3. And I thought,
it was as soon as we flipped over to it. You're like, I'm like, hell yeah, 3-3. You're like, yeah, it ain't gonna last long once we turn it on.
And he literally got to run all the way down to the 1 yard line or something. Shit, didn't he?
Yeah. It was. This is how we roll, man. We fuck shit up.
We do. We're here to fuck shit up. Nonetheless, we did take the win in that one. We both chose the Ravens. Mike, the Lions at the Giants. You know what? I don't know what to make of this team. What is the Lions' record? I think I just seen they won 4 games in a row or something.
Yeah, they're 4-6, man.
So the Lions, who I didn't take, 3 in a row. Because, they're the Lions and the Giants, who are kind of high on around here this season, who's having a pretty good year.
Yeah.
They take, and it wasn't even close. I mean, the score shows it as 31-18, but the game wasn't close. You're watching it, and it was typically 24-6 or something. At some point, I thought, wow, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this. That the Lions, but nonetheless, we took the Giants in that, Mike. We did lose that one.
Yeah, it was a rough one. We're not
this
game
here.
My Lions.
This is a game. This next one here, the Raiders and Broncos. I mean, is this a tale of two teams that nobody gives a shit about this year? I mean, really, Raiders and Broncos. Neither of them are any good. They're just kind of going through the motions. We both take the Broncos in that. The Raiders end up getting the win, 22-16. This next game, Mike. The just coming off the big win, the Minnesota Vikings. Now they're being considered a competitor. You got to watch out for the Vikings. They were 7-1, 8-1, whatever it was. They just beat Buffalo, and they come out and almost get shut out, 40-3 for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's nuts. The Cowboys scored 37 straight points.
Woo!
Yeah, that's not a way to. That's not a fun day for the defense over there.
And the Cowboys aren't exactly the most consistent, but I mean they got a good squad this year. They're doing good things, but 40-3, man, I did not see that coming against this Minnesota team that I just got sold on last week was this Minnesota squad. Mike and I both take Minnesota. We take the loss. I'm going to hop over the Steelers for a second. We'll talk about the Sunday night football game. Of course, we spoke a little bit earlier. The Chargers hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. It was what it was. It was the exact kind of game that I expected it to be. I thought that the Chargers were going to win. They had a nice little lead at one point. But you know what? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They do their thing. They hit Travis Kelce. Mahomes does what he does. We both choose the Chiefs last week, and the
Yep.
Chiefs win 30-27. And finally, everybody, we know the game that we talked about mostly all the show, the Bengals at the Steelers. Rematch from week one, where the Steelers were able to win that game 23-20 in overtime. They do the rematch, comes back around. Bengals come to town. The Pigeons disappear, and we lose. We lose that game. But the important reason that I'm talking about it now is because it was an important part of the betting. Mike did lose because of the tiebreaker. That was the one thing that kept me on the winning track, was the tiebreaker, because I won the Bears game, Mike won the Bengals game. 40.5 was the over under. Mike went under, I went over, and I did win this week. But I'm not gonna rub it in. I'm not gonna rub it in. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back a little bit, and then we'll move forward. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun, and we will continue. We'll continue with our picks, and I'm sure Mike will win sometime soon. And
this is just I'm on a terrible losing streak right now.
It's a
This
streak.
was 3 in a row. 3 weeks in a row I've lost.
Yeah.
It is all for some bullshit tomfoolery trickery.
Trickery.
None of them have been a blowout. It's all come down to that one game.
I know.
Last week it was the Steelers just winning out of nowhere. This week was the over-under.
Yeah.
It's some bullshit. We're going back to the way you used to pick, just to be contrary. Oh, you're all just going to pick that one because you picked them.
Just picking willy-nilly. Just
that's what we're doing from now on. That's some bullshit. I thought we both knew what we were talking about when we take it seriously.
Right. We always have no clue what we're doing.
No.
Let's see, Mike. So I think since we capped off the picks for the week, we capped off college. I think that leaves us with nothing other than
the news.
I have a couple news stories to go over today, Mike. A couple news stories. So last week we talked about the Tyson Chicken. The owner from Tyson Chicken, he was found in somebody's house. Mike, you recall that story?
Oh yeah, the CEO.
Yes. Well, apparently he was sleeping naked in the bed, and when somebody finally approached him, he was disoriented. Nobody knows what to make of this. He was naked in some stranger's bed, disoriented when finally approached. What do you make of that?
My man partied too hard and did not know what the fuck he was doing.
Jeez, oh man!
Like you got either he went out and partied alone and fucked up, or he went partying out with friends and they let him wander off.
He's like a CEO for a company, a name.
He better hope it found out that someone spiked his drink or spiked something to make him that way, and he didn't do this on his own.
Or he went through like a portal or something.
Right? He better be found out he was abducted by aliens or someone fucked with his drink.
Hanging out with all the rich people.
Yeah,
their rich toys.
Yeah.
Pills and pretzels. Mike, did you see this one? I believe it's a Philly pretzel place here local. It's the owner. The owner was selling prescription pills out of the drive-through window, Mike, here in the Western Pennsylvania area.
I saw that.
You could not only get your delicious pretzels, but you could also get your prescription pills.
That's what I'm talking. Hey man, that's this one-stop shop. This guy, he was making life more convenient for everyone else.
Yes, them pretzels probably taste real good too once them pills kick in.
Fuck yeah.
China claims world's first kerosene-powered engine could propel jets 9 times faster than the speed of sound, Mike. China claims world's first kerosene-powered engine can propel jets 9 times the speed of sound.
That's something different. They're using kerosene to power the jets.
Man, can you imagine what China smells like if all their jets
were... yes.
That kerosene smell, and it stays with you. Yeah. You're in somebody's house with a kerosene heater. You're smelling that for the next week.
Yeah, get the F out of here.
Yeah, my pap used to be big on them when I was a kid, man. I could not ever get that smell. I'd be at school 3 days later, I smell kerosene. And finally, Mike, giant turtle the size of a great white shark discovered. Giant turtle the size of a great white shark discovered. That's got to be a big turtle, huh?
Is it a live turtle or a fossil?
I think it's a live turtle. pull that stuff up real quick.
Hold on.
Size of a great white shark. Them great whites are huge, aren't they?
They're huge. Well, I can't.
What the size of his turtle balls are.
Oh yeah, okay, it's from the. Yeah, it's 83 million years ago.
Holy crap!
That's wild. Like all the animals back then were huge because they had like.
Yeah, I mean, you had to be to fight off the dinosaurs.
Man, that's bad. That's a fucking huge ass turtle. Stay the fuck away from me. Like eat me for lunch.
Yeah, can
Like
you
look
imagine?
at this. The fuck that.
I mean, these turtles were fighting off dinosaurs. If you think about, it. I mean, probably right.
They're fighting off big ass giant ass predators in the ocean and shit.
Man,
Fuck that.
What a shell! What? Imagine the size of that shell.
Probably like a soft shell turtle to be that big.
Shell's probably the size of football fields.
Yeah, I like how that's how we always use measurements. Is like
that's right.
We're typical Americans.
Yes,
we don't
fuck
use
metric. Fuck metric. We go by
metric.
Football field.
Fuck metric. Fuck using like it's 8 feet. No, we're gonna use it's comparable to a coffee table.
The funny thing, yes, exactly. And the thing about the metric is, only on the streets we use the metric. We got our 9 millimeter. We're going out to buy our gram of weed. On the streets, we use metric.
For the important shit. For the important shit, we use metric.
Right. And that, everybody, was today's The News. The news. But yes, Mike, we have one more football game this week. That game is tonight, the 49ers and the Cardinals. We both chose the 49ers on this one, so this one affects our picks none. But we did both take the 49ers. Are you still liking the 49ers for tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Cardinals, they have issues right now. I don't know what they're. Remember what was it? 2 seasons ago, they started out red hot, and
it was last year. It was last year. Yeah, they collapsed in the playoffs, man.
And they collapsed, and they never really picked it up since then. So for that, I am going to take San Francisco. Plus, I think San Francisco is getting a little better every week. Mike, you want to go and tell everybody about our website?
TwoDumbYinzers.com. You head on over there. We have links for everything you need, Two Dumb Yinzer wise. And I'm looking at the stats now, and people are popping over there all the time now. I'm loving it. Yes, head on over there with links to YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, Insta, just email address, everything you need, TwoDumbYinzers at TwoDumbYinzers.com.
There you go. We thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you, believe me. And you could also this show that we're doing right now is on every day, Monday through Friday from 11 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. Please keep continuing to check us out here. And this show that we do today will be uploaded at 8 o'clock in the evening over on Spotify if you just want to check it out in podcast form. That's every day also for that particular day. Mike, are you ready? Are you ready to do some Colts trivia?
Oh, yeah.
I went soft on this first one. I think that you'll get this one. This is your Austin P. This game will be to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Tune you up for the rest of the week. So, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. You got your pencil?
Yes, I do.
All right. Here we go. Which Colts kicker was the first kicker in NFL history to go an entire season, including the playoffs, without missing an extra point or a field goal attempt all season long? Which Colts kicker went an entire season, including the playoffs, without a miss of an extra point or a field goal attempt all season long? And go.
Either Vinatieri or Vanderjagt. Because I believe Vinatieri played for the Colts at one point.
Yes, he did. All right, everybody put your pencils down. Mike, one more time. Which Colts kicker went and was the first kicker to ever go an entire NFL season, including the playoffs, without missing a single extra point or field goal attempt all season. Who are you going to go with?
Oh God, let's go with our idiot liquored up kicker, Vanderjagt.
Mike Vanderjagt, who I always liked, but let's go ahead and get you logged in here. That's your final answer.
Final answer.
All right, got you logged in. And Mike says Mike Vanderjagt. One more time, I'll read you the question. Which Colts kicker was the first kicker in the NFL to go an entire season, including the playoffs, without a missed field goal or a missed extra point attempt? Mike says Mike Vanderjagt, and the answer is correct. That is 100% correct, Mike. It was Mike Vanderjagt. He was one of the more entertaining kickers, I thought. Like you said, he had the issue with the drinking there for a while. I like Vanderjagt. Him and Vinatieri were both good answers. I don't know which one I would have went with if I would have had to pick it out of the sky, but you did great. You picked the right guy. Mike Vanderjagt was it, and you are up 1-0 on this week's trivia with the Colts, Mike. So hopefully that could carry over for the Steelers and help us get a win next Monday. But we have lots of week to go. Again, this is Thanksgiving week. We have some special things coming up for you later in the week, so please continue to keep tuning in. Mike, do you have anything before we take off for the day, man?
Let's go Pens. Oh, actually, no. USA beat Wales.
Everybody today, 2:00, Wales, USA, World Cup. You know what? It started yesterday, but for us here in America, support our team, watching soccer. It starts today, 1:00. For Ryan, Mike, the two dumb yinzers. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you.